Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2CTV with some breaking news coming from Magdeburg, Germany. Another day and another protest against the Christmas market attack that happened a few days ago in Magdeburg. This time officially organized by the AfD as a political party. We have over 25,000 people apparently out, according to the numbers between 25,000 to 30,000. It was initially 15 to 20,000. The numbers seem to be going up. The speeches are just finishing the rally itself, but also they're now going to be marching on the streets. The actual rally and the speeches were outside the main cathedral in Magdeburg. We have a number of videos for you guys, and obviously if you don't speak German, we have translated the speeches and the videos for you guys. Obviously we'll get your reaction as well, especially if you're watching this from Germany. Let us know what your thoughts are on this topic. So the authorities are still going around doing their own investigation. The politicians, the mainstream political parties, continue to be blasé about the whole thing, saying, oh, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, without coming up with any proper solution, which at this point should be mass deportation, should be a proper investigation into foreign criminals and illegal migrants, and also legal migrants who have a criminal background. None of that is happening anyway, but let's go quickly watch some of the clips that we have from Germany first, and then we'll see what they're actually talking about.
Über alle Parteien hinweg in die Welt getragen wird, und zwar, dass dieser Täter irgendwas mit der AfD zu tun hätte. Dazu kann ich euch Folgendes sagen. Ich komme aus dem Kreisverband Salzlandkreis und bin dort der Kreisvorsitzende. Der Täter hat in Bernburg gelebt und auch im Maßregelvollzug in Bernburg gearbeitet. Bernburg gehört zum Salzlandkreis. Wir haben zu keinem Zeitpunkt in irgendeiner Form Kontakt mit diesem Mann gehabt. Dieser Mann hat keinen Kontakt zu uns gesucht. Er war auf keiner Veranstaltung bei uns. Er war uns völlig unbekannt bis zum...
Well, that's quite clear. One of the main things that came out on the first day was that this Taleb person was essentially an AfD supporter, but obviously that was a lie. We already exposed all that, and it is interesting that most of the narrative, false narrative, fake news that has been surrounding the whole topic, saying he is a AfD supporter, an atheist, and somehow Jewish at the same time, which made no sense, then obviously none of this was actually confirmed by the actual authorities or the establishment. This was basically the proxies from the establishment, the mainstream media, using social media to fabricate all these claims. Obviously, all that has been debunked already, and the AfD at their rally right now, they are saying, well, this is just nonsense, we didn't know who he was, and there's no evidence to connect him to the AfD. Let's go to the next video we have, and also we have a speech. Let's get a short clip from the speech done by the leader, the co-leader of AfD, Alice Weidel, as well. Let's go to the next clip, see what the rally looks like. Yeah, that's outside the main cathedral in Magdeburg, as you can see, just like the other night, peaceful. And and again, there's a lot of issues with the narrative right now against anybody who's concerned, because like in the UK, if you are a patriot or even a nationalist trying to protest against the government, they will call you a far-right football hooligan thug. In Germany, they will call you an AfD supporter, to say it's a bad thing. But the AfD is still growing in their support massively. And as a party, they've done a massive cleanup, because there have been elements inside the party of people who were saying things without actually thinking. And but it is definitely not an ethno-nationalist party. It is a proper nationalist party, but it's not an ethno-nationalist party anyway. There have been ethno-nationalists inside the AfD. Even Marine Le Pen actually criticized the AfD for that before. But the party is becoming more serious, more professional, and actually listening to the concerns of patriots in Germany. Now, obviously, in each party you have different elements, but that is irrelevant to this point. People are concerned. People are turning up to these sort of rallies. Let's go to the next video we have from Magdeburg.
Dass wir Sicherheit leben können. Freunde, ich wiederhole es nochmal. Wir wollen, dass sich endlich etwas ändert in unserem Land und dass wir endlich wieder in Sicherheit leben können, dass wir nie wieder mit einer Mutter trauern müssen, die auf so eine sinnlose und brutale Weise ihren Sohn verloren hat.
You can see she was holding back tears. That was Alice Weidel, the co-leader of the AfD. We will talk about the rise of AfD anyway, and how the mainstream in Germany continue to use it as an insult if you are supporting the AfD. It is interesting. Also, I do want to show you a quick clip of the mainstream media as well, because ZDF obviously are also there to report on this, and they couldn't find any evidence of anything too crazy happening, and the reporters were there to find any example of, you know, ethno-nationalist far right sort of thing. But let's watch this.
Also ich stehe hier am Rande der Menschenkette, die sich gerade um den alten Markt, um dieses ganze Gelände hier herum bildet. Und das soll ein stiller Protest, aber auch nicht nur Protest sein, sondern es soll ein Zeichen geben, dass Magdeburg zusammensteht, dass Magdeburg gegen den Hass sich wendet. Und auch ein Zeichen der gemeinsamen Trauer, die natürlich immer noch vorherrscht hier heute. Diese Menschenkette fängt jetzt hier, Punkt jetzt an und soll bis ungefähr 19 Uhr andauern. Die AfD hat jetzt ihre Kundgebung auf dem Domplatz, plant hinterher einen Trauermarsch durch die Stadt. Bis jetzt ist noch nicht absehbar, wie das alles ausgeht. Wir werden einfach dranbleiben.
It is still not clear how it will turn out. So far, it's turned out to be just like the other night. Seems to be okay, organized, well structured, and well behaved. Now, we will talk about also Naomi Seibt, in case you don't know her, because she's on the rise as well. She's the German girl who got famous at first because she was fighting against Greta Thunberg. She was the anti-Greta Thunberg character. But Alice Weidel also said that discussion about new security laws must not distract from the fact that Magdeburg would not have been possible without uncontrolled immigration. The state must protect citizens through a restrictive migration policy and consistent deportations. Not only she's right about that, but she should also, I mean, she has mentioned it before over the last couple of days. Don't forget to remind everybody around the world that Saudi Arabia were consistently asking the German government to keep an eye on this man. Saudi Arabia, because obviously they had their own agents, because they wanted to keep an eye on him, because they wanted him back in Saudi, because he was a criminal, and they told the German authorities, look at his social media posts. Look at his activities. This man is going to cause trouble. Do something. And the German authorities did absolutely nothing. And they continued to defend and support and protect him until the moment when he decided to target Christians at a Christmas market. That is the reality of the whole situation. Let's quickly go back to the next clip. Then I'm going to show you what Naomi Seibt also had to say.
Sie vielleicht hier mit stehen bleiben?
Now, let's actually discuss the rise of the AfD. There are a lot of speculations that they could get up to 30% in the polls. The elections are coming up. The whole of the mainstream establishment parties are freaking out, but they have already decided that they will try their best to prevent an AfD government, because obviously it's still representative electoral system, which means that it's not direct. You don't actually elect the chancellor. It's just like the UK. So political parties can do a coalition or a voting bloc in order to stop and prevent the AfD from taking control. And that is what's going to happen essentially. Let's go to Naomi. She explains the whole situation really well.
Alice Weidel from the AfD is finally leading in the polls as the most popular chancellor candidate for the upcoming election. However, this is what most people missed, because it gets even better. These poll results are from the day before Elon Musk announced his support for the AfD and before the terror attack on the Christmas market in Magdeburg. Obviously, I'm not glorifying the attack. However, both events were major wake-up calls for the majority of Germans. I seriously believe now that we have seen this drastic increase in support for the AfD even prior to these two events, we can expect a lot for next week. I seriously expect 30%. Let's be optimistic. I can see the 30% for the AfD coming, which would be revolutionary because the AfD is completely replacing the old establishment parties. The AfD is the youngest party in Germany. It was only established in 2013. However, does this mean that the AfD will be leading in the upcoming government? And this is the unfortunate truth. We do not live in a direct democracy, meaning that we do not simply elect the chancellor by ourselves. And all the other establishment parties have already sworn to build the big coalition, the firewall against the right, die Brandmauer, a metaphorical term that we use to describe it when all the other parties decide to unite against the right, which is the AfD.
Weder vorher noch nachher, noch zu irgendeinem anderen Zeitpunkt gibt es eine Zusammenarbeit meiner Fraktion mit Ihren Leuten, egal mit wie vielen Leuten Sie hier im nächsten Deutschen Bundestag.
That's always been the case, and of course they will try their best to continue to do the same stitch up that you also see in other countries, including the Fifth Republic of France. And unless something radical happens in terms of reforming the system, but also political culture must change. The political culture is slowly changing. For example, Marine Le Pen and the National Rally, they have obviously also professionalized their party over the last 7-8 years. They are now a serious force. They are no longer on the fringes. The AfD is also slowly becoming less fringy and more also mainstream in terms of the wider support, not mainstream in terms of being establishment shields. And the same thing obviously that happened when in 2020 Joe Biden became president. Everybody wrote off Donald Trump, saying he's over, it's done. His supporters are now on the fringes. The Republican Party, the GOP will take back control of their party, and basically the Bush dynasty type of people will come back. That didn't really happen, because now not only the MAGA movement in America returned and Trump returned, it returned as a mainstream force, as a serious mainstream, even more so than 2016. The 2016 was more of a rebellion. This time, people voted with confidence. Same you could say about Marine Le Pen. Now, the voting system will make it hard for National Rally to take control, obviously. Same you could say about the AfD. The AfD have more work to do in terms of professionalizing the party and everything else, but it is getting there. It's definitely getting there. And they just have to make sure they have the right characters and the right movement, and they are gathering support from all sides now. It is no longer polling at 5% or 10%. It is now a serious force, which by default means that they will be better directed in terms of the policy program and everything else that you have. Let's quickly, while we're here, get some reaction from you lovely people. First super chat, thank you very much, saying, was it Son of Hamas, page 168, way to save yourself. I don't know what that is. I think that's about Mossab. Stuart says, speeches just hit differently in German. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you could do a translation, which we've done, obviously, for you guys with the subtitles. But in terms of the emotive part of what Alice Weidel was, for example, talking about when she was holding back tears, you can only feel how powerful the speech is if you understand German. And, again, it's difficult when you translate it to English or any other language. So Stuart is right. Meow Mook says, Happy Christmas, Maya. Just thank you so much. Thank you very much for all the support and your patience, ladies and gentlemen, with me and this channel over the last year. Now, let's get some non-super chats as well. First one says, this is war. Let's hope the Europe sticks together against this. I think there's a lot of people, ordinary people across the European continent who do want to do this, who do want to actually, you can see, as I've said on this channel, you've noticed that patriots and nationalists are now supporting each other, which was never a thing before. Until a few years ago, the French nationalists were on their own, the British patriots on their own, the American side will be on their own. Now you can actually see a kind of international support, because I think people are finally realizing that your fight is your fight in your country, and nobody else should interfere in terms of intervention. Having said that, we live in a globalized world, and the globalists are using internationalism essentially to support each other for their cause of globalizing the world even further, politically, economically, and everything else, and socially. So we are finally seeing patriots and nationalists actually supporting each other from different countries. We got Millet supporting Trump. We got Elon Musk supporting Polyev, for example, in Canada. Same thing with AFD. Same thing with, of course, Reform UK in the UK and other places. So you are starting to see a cross-country support, and that is the right thing to do. And otherwise, you won't be able to defeat the globalist tendencies that are calling the shots. And some Muggle says to call them far right is to try to discredit their views and shut down any discourse. The tactic of the left, label and clothe. Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of people know about the concept that this comes from Marxism, by the way. And then obviously the communists in Soviet Union also adopted the tactic, which is to name and shame, label people, dehumanize them. That's what you do, right? And then you just shut down debate. People know, like as in well-intended, normal people who are center-right, center-left, liberal, conservative, centrist, what do you want to call them? Normal people, not really radical communists, for example. They know this, right? That includes some people on the right, center-right and conservative side, right? But people continue to fall for this. It is absolutely fascinating how there are conservative-minded people in Britain, center-right conservative in Britain, who have fallen for the trap that, for example, Trump is far-right. Marine Le Pen, the current version of Marine Le Pen, and her party is far-right. And far-right, the actual far ideologies, they are very specific type of ideologies. They use it as an insult. But far-right ideologies, they are a very specific type of ideologies. That includes ethno-nationalism, for example, and obviously centralization of all powers, just like what Mussolini did. But they don't call people far-right because of that. They just call people far-right as in that person is mean, that person is nasty, that person is rude. That's what they mean. And they wanted to basically shut down any debate by labeling you things. And the fact that there are some people who are not necessarily far left, like communists or whatever like that, they are technically more centrist or center-right. In various countries, they continue to fall for this. They're like, yeah, the BBC told me that the MAGA movement and Trump, they are far-right, right? So yeah, they're far-right. Who do you support? Well, my center-right party in my country. I don't know, in Denmark, for example, or in Sweden. And like, so you know about the tactic of naming and labeling things. I'm like, yeah, I do. You do as you're just doing it now. So it's just a cycle of doom that keeps happening every time. Thank you for a super chat from Israel saying you're all welcome. Congrats to those who won the 5 memberships gifted. Have you been gifting memberships? Well, on behalf of the people who are receiving the memberships gifts, well, thank you. I think we should probably create a function for membership gifts on 2CTV Plus, because if you want to be a real member of the channel and its supporters, don't give your money to YouTube and Google. You could actually join 2CTV Plus. There's obviously Christmas discounts. See, you made me do it. I didn't want to do a promo. Now people are going to get angry. 50% off Christmas discount if you use the promo code Christmas50 by going on 2c.tv. That's how you become a real member of 2CTV Tribe. And of course, you get access to documentaries and premium shows and the chat forum and everything else, rather than just their YouTube membership. YouTube membership is separate. It goes to Google, but obviously that goes straight to our team, and hardly any of that actually goes to me, because we have a big team, and the investment has to continue to build a better product for you guys. The app, which is coming as well, don't ask when, soon, and of course all the other uncensored content that we can't post on YouTube. Anyway, I really wasn't planning to do the plug, but because of that was a good excuse to do it. But thank you for gifting membership to the other lovely people. All right, where are we? Sean says, sounds familiar to us all being far right. Same narrative, different content. Yeah, it's the same tactic they use all the time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was the latest update. I don't want to keep going for no reason. We have obviously got your views, and make sure if you joined the live stream late, rewind to the beginning. We showed you all the speeches, all the footage from the rally. We're going to take a break and come back because we have some big news coming from the United Kingdom and British politics, as Keir Starmer's government are now planning to essentially rig the whole system of elections for the next few years. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.